Well, now, what's up, party people? I just want to kick it with y'all, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just to, give y'all some, you know, some testimony, maybe, something like that. We trying to get through this destructive world that we living in, bro, the best way we can. I mean, it's not, it's not helping. You know what I'm saying? It's not helping the world at all. Just staying blind to the point, to the fact that we are killing it. I mean, would you get mad if I was to just destroy, you know, if I was to destroy the world, would you get mad? I mean, I preach about how we can save the world and you get mad. So I know you'll get mad if I destroyed it. Um, Everybody wants to play God until God shows up and be like, hold up, wait a minute, bro. You do know this is my house, right? Yeah, that part. Um, Give you a quick testimony, I guess, bro. Cause man, y'all the only family I got. So this is when I went into my first discipleship school. I went to learn how to remember scripture, which you did. They showed me a pattern on how to start learning how to. And picture this. Every time when I told God that I was going to do something one day with His word and all that stuff, that one day it's going to happen, I asked Him, this is what I need done in order for this to happen. So, here we go. Ready? The first time I told God that I was going to read His word, I said, before I take and do, you know what I'm saying, something very wicked to myself, I was going to stop and read His word. And He caught me in the midst of about to do something wicked. 2 years later, after I said that, I was in somebody else's church when I said that I was going to learn His word. Okay, because I got tired of being the only one that never found the chapter or the verse that the pastor said go to. I'm still flipping through it, can't find it. Anyways, that happened. But after I'm reading, I'm like, you know what? Everybody got it to where they could quote scripture. And they was making a big like cahoots about it I'm learning what God is teaching me with the verses, what they say and everything. And as I tell them what they saying and everything, they trying to gain structure over just quoting scripture without a Bible. I'm like, okay, well, that's good. I'm not hating. But then they want to make statements and comments about it. I'm like, you know what? I said, God, the only way that I could be able to learn how to remember scripture is if you put me in the middle of nowhere. Because I was still going through a lot of confusion, all that type of stuff, bro, and distractions and all this stuff, bro, when it came to my children and all that stuff. I said, man, if you put me in the middle of nowhere, picture this. Picture this. There was a woman who had opened up a ministry in the basement of a homeless shelter called Paper Bag Ministries. This woman went and did, a deal at another church in this place outside of Springfield, Missouri, like headed towards St. Louis. Now, check this out now. So she did a play, and she had me and some other dudes who were homeless, you know, because you got people that got houses and everything was still coming mooch off the homeless. And these dudes wasn't, but they was definitely, you know, jerks about it too. They want to crack jokes about people being homeless, but here you. Anyways, bitter. Dude. Okay, we learning to play. It's a famous song. Break every chain. Break every chain. All right? And we did the play. We rehearsed it all in the basement, all that. So it's time to go to the place to do it, right? We go to the place to do it, right? And there, I didn't even know, you know, I just thought it was just a regular church. So then before you knew it, one of the young ladies who did the play with us, she was like, I'm gonna stay here. I'm like, what you mean you're gonna stay here? This is after the wait. It was right before we did the play. Right before we did the play, she was talking about it. And then, you know, it kind of like dawned on me that it was something different here. You know, that was like months later though. But anyways, so I'm like, what you mean you're gonna stay here? She like, yeah, this is a discipleship program. You know, as well as I said, a discipleship program. I'm like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? And she was telling me in the name of the discipleship program and all that stuff, and I'm like, okay. So what happens? They like they keep you here, and you learn the Bible, the Word, and everything. You get a certificate and all that stuff to be a disciple of God. And you go out and preach and stuff. I'm like, well, you know what? You know, that sounds cool. And I turned around. And I was back eating my food because they had a little thing. I ain't say nothing. And then before you knew it, wham, he hit me. He like, you ain't leaving neither. I'm like, what I do? What do you mean I'm not leaving? And I obeyed. Right there. He said, you ain't leaving neither. I said, man, why do you mean I ain't leaving? You know, and I got my kids back where I was and all that stuff and all that. And I'm talking about just, I left everything, which I ain't had much. I was living on the streets, but, you know, trying to get my life together, I just couldn't. But anyways, the dude said, you ain't leaving anyway. You ain't leaving either. I said, okay, all right, I ain't leaving. So then, before you know it, I'm in there, right? We do the play. Before you know it, the pastor, he announced that I was going to be joining the discipleship program and all that. And, you know, everybody clapped and all that. Yay. You know, yay. It was all good. You know, it's always a good day for God when you get somebody, a soldier. And, you know, I stood there. I stood my grounds. A couple of months into the program and everything, bro, I come to find out that we was in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, the town that we was in with the discipleship program didn't have a zip code. They had this city before them and this city in the back of them. And they wasn't part of none of them. They was in the middle of nowhere. They didn't even have a zip code. You know what I'm saying? It was a trip because they ciphered off of one of them, but they wasn't part of that city. But they ciphered off of it so far as using their zip code to get mail. Ain't that something? The middle of nowhere. Now, I think a year went by after I told him that was going to happen. That I told him that he had to put me in the middle of nowhere in order for me to memorize scripts so that I could clear my head, all this stuff. And just like that, he took me away from the things that was always like making me run behind it, like my children and everything, a job and all that, and help for this and all that stuff, a place to sleep, and I'm running for safety and all that other stuff. Manic. And so, yeah, you know, got into the program, all that, and one of the kid pastors was like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And the first day I get in there, you know what I'm saying, the first night that I'm spending there was two ladies behind me talking about one girl left. The girl who said she was gonna stay wind up jetting on me, and I was like, that little punk. And I look back and I like, she gone, why, and all that. And before you know it, Arnold Schwarzenegger come up to me like, that's my wife. I'm like, I ain't say nothing to her, dude, but he had a a ping pong paddle. You know, you play ping pong, ping ball, and a ball in his hand. The little softball, you know, pat, 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 pat. Yeah. And when he said he was the youth pastor, he was the pastor's son, big old Arnold Schwarzenegger dog. And you know, you could see all his muscles and everything. He was all ripped and everything. The ping pong table was right on side of us as we sitting down, and I'm like, she left. What do you mean she left? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I thought I had a friend here that could just, you know what I'm saying, be cool with me or something, right? And you know, I ain't saying nothing about it. I ain't leaving nothing. But he come in my face. He came in my face like, oh, hey, what are you doing? Like, I was just talking to you like, that's my wife. And dude, before you knew it, I had like nightmares about him taking that damn ball and just go, that's my wife, and just hit that ball so hard, bro, and just hit me clean my damn forehead and like killed me. And that was like, that shit was scary. I'm like, so, you know, that's my tale of my first discipleship program. That's how I got into that discipleship program. A little tiny woman named Bonnie. She discipled me. The other men and all that, they did their thing and everything, or whatever you did. I can salute them too, because they're a man of God. And, she gave it, you dig? She took Romans and just, king, 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 king. I'm like, yeah, that's how you do it. Everybody else was like, I was like, yeah, keep going. One.